Welcome to OpenGeology. We are here discussing about the CIL previous year questions. This is part 4. We will see from question number 31 to 40. But before you begin, you can join our CIL Geologist test series. There are 100 plus tests belongs to each and every sections. So you can download our app and join this test series. We also have other exams like NET, GATE, GSI, ITGM, PSU. So you can join this. Let's begin with the first question. By far, which are the most common element in the universe and our solar system? So the correct answer is hydrogen and helium. Most hydrogen, second number helium. Now if we talk about the other parts of the solar system or the earth, if we talk about the entire earth, the most common is iron, then oxygen, silica, you have the magnesium, nickel, sulfur. Okay. If we talk about the earth's crust, then the most common is oxygen, then you have the silica, aluminium, iron, magnesium. Okay, so you should remember the earth's crust, entire earth, and the universe or the solar system. Now another question is, what do the cemented cells of marine organisms form? So it is a biochemical rock. So we have the rock classification, especially the sedimentary rock classification. We have the clastic rocks and we have the non-clastic rocks. Clastic rocks we further divides into the rhodaceous rocks, arenaceous rocks, and the argillaceous rocks. So rhodaceous means the large particles, like you have the conglomerate, breccia. You have the arenaceous, which are the fine, like the sandstones, and the least is the lutite rocks or the argillites, like the shale or the mudstones. Okay, then you have the non-clastic rocks, which are chemical rocks and the biochemical. Chemical means the limestones, which are chemically precipitated, and you have the biochemically, which are like the animal cells. Okay, so the marine organisms are the biochemical rocks. Now another question is, the Cretaceous quiet zone is name given to. So there was a time in the Cretaceous where the for a long period of time a normal polarity happens, and we call that a Cretaceous quiet zone. So it is an especially long period of normal magnetic polarity of Earth's magnetic field. Now there is one reverse polarity which is known as the Kieman reverse supercron. It happens in the Permo-Carboniferous period and lasts for the 55 million years. So for the continuous 55 million years there is reverse magnetic poles. Other thing you can remember is the Gilbert, Gauss, Mokiyama and Grunhaus. So these are the normal and reverse polarity of the Cretaceous time period, or the for the Quaternary time period. Okay. Another question is, cleavage in a mineral refers to. So you have the two terms, cleavage and the fracture. So cleavage stands for the perfectly broken surface. So if we break, like we break the mica, so mica can be split like a seeds. Okay, this is seeds. So these are the cleavage planes, while fracture is then irregular surface. We cannot get a flat surface, so it's an irregularity. So a tendency to break along a plane of weakness is called the cleavage. For example, the cleavage is topaz has a cleavage, while quartz has no cleavage, so it breaks as a fractures. And based on the what is the shape of that fracture, we call it a conchoidal fracture. So you can remember the cleavage, like what minerals have cleavage, whether it is one directional cleavage, where there are two directions along with a mineral can break. There are three directions or more direction, even the 4 direction or the 6 directions. Another question is, Mullins is a name of a structural geologist used for. So Mullin is a linear deformational structure which is restricted to the interface between the competent and incompetent rock. So we classify structures. There are many classifications, but one of them is a linear structure and the planar structure. Let's see about the moulins as the linear structure. So what happens is there is more competent rock and there is incompetent rock. So more competent means the more hard or the more stiff, hard to deform, while the incompetent rock, it deforms easily and bends a series of like this. So we call each of these linearity as moulins. Okay, so there are other things like you have this type of structure which are again the linear, and but here are the planes as well. Okay, so these are the budins. Okay, budinas, or you can say. Okay. So again these are the competent rock, and in between it is incompetent rock. Sometimes the difference is less, so it becomes a pinch and swell structure. Okay, pinch and swell structure. So this is the classification linear objects. If we have the like minerals are aligned in a perfect way, we call it the mineral lineation, or because of the objects. Then you have the trace lineation. Let's say you have the two planes, one is going that way, one is going this way, and because of their intersection a linear line is formed. So the intersection lineation is as well. And granulation lineation, which is a small type of folding. Next question is, when the fine-grained cohesive soil rocks are dried beyond the plastic limit and the soil continues to decrease in volume down to a certain moisture content, what it will be known as? Okay, so it will known as the shrinkage limit. So there are certain terms like the plastic limit and the liquid limit, shrinkage limit. So what are these and what are their formulas? Now let's say this is the volume of a soil. If we increase the moisture content for a certain period of time, soil is behave always like a solid. Then what happens is, when we continuously increasing, there would be a point when it becomes the semi-solid. So this limit is called as the shrinkage limit. It becomes the semi-solid. Further increase in the water content, it will behave like a plastic. So it will call as the plastic limit. Plastic limit. Then after a certain period, it will flow. There will be a time when it will flow. So that particular point is known as your liquid limit, and after that the soil will behave as liquids. Okay, so these are the things, these are the terms you should remember. What is the shrinkage limit, plastic limit, and the liquid limit. And then there is few indexes like the plasticity index or the shrinkage limit. So plasticity index is your liquid limit minus the plastic limit. This minus this is your the plasticity index. Next question is, clippe is the term which is used for. It is used for an erosional remnant of nappe. Let's say this is a thrust surface and the whole material, whole of the hanging wall is moved forward like this up to here, and erosion is continuously happening. So these things are continuously eroded and some part is still left. This part is known as your clippe. Now if there is a part within the thrust sheet which is eroded, so this is a window through which we can look the lower rocks. So we call it as window. So you have the nappe, clippe, and window. Okay, these three terms you should remember. Another question is, volcanoes do not occur either present or the emergent boundaries. Why? No, sorry. If they do not occur in the present or the emergent boundaries, then what we call them? We call them as the mantle hotspots. So what happens is, along the mantle core boundary, there is hotspots which moves upward because of the low buoyancy and creates a volcano which is neither present in the constructive or the destructive plate boundary, and hence it will create a hotspot or the mantle plume. So this is an example of non-boundary volcanism. Okay, so Hawaiian chain is one of the example of mantle hotspot or the mantle plume. So the plate is continuously moving, but the hotspot is stationary, so that is why it forms like a chain. Another question is, which of the following is defined as the diameter of circle of the same area as the drainage basin divided by the maximum length of basin? It is an elongation ratio. There is many terms or the many calculations used to describe a sedimentary basin. These are the linear aspects, aerial aspect, and the relief aspect. So these are the different terms you can remember. Not all, but like the bifurcation ratio, stream number, sinuosity index, stream frequency, what is the drainage density, and what is the elongation ratio, circulatory ratio, basin relief ratio, and the okay, that's it. These terms and definitions of this you should remember. Now the last question of this video is, net pay from hydrocarbon reserves can be. So let's understand what is the gross pay and net pay. Gross pay refers to the total thickness of reservoir interval, including the productive and non-productive rock layers. So let's say you have a reservoir, it maybe consists of non-productive layer like this, and you have the productive layer. Okay, so both of these will combine as the gross pay. Now net pay is only the porous and permeable layers. So this is the net pay. Okay, so net pay can be equal to or less than the gross pay. Third option will be our right answer. So it's all about for this video. Again, you can join our CIL Geology test series for the upcoming CIL exam and improve your accuracy and your preparation. Thank you.